So the situation with Hillman getting these odd reactions from these fake scholars starting to make more sense now. So in this video, Hillman reacts to the lies of Wes Huff, and Lizard Brain, truth be told, thinks it is demonic possession. And why does he think that? It's because Lizard Brain, truth be told, is suffering from, I'm making this up, but what could be called Christian frontal lobe inhibition syndrome and functional mental illness. Oh, man. So glad I studied neuroscience. So here's what we're looking at here. So this is what a lizard brain looks like. I'll show you more in a couple seconds, but this is kind of what it looks like. And lizard brain is not an accurate word, but this is what it looks like when one's frontal lobe has been inhibited. Now, obviously, I did it backwards here just because, I don't know, decided to, because they're talking back and forth to each other. But they both lost prefrontal regulation, which is why they have no idea what this guy's talking about. See, when you lose prefrontal regulation and prefrontal cortex control or operational override, you operate from your lower limbic regions, and there's no rational thought there at all. So this is a normal brain, and this is a fully intact dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and the anterior cingulate cortex. And this is, I put the word conscience here, but this is just the best way for us to visualize where we in our brains are able to access our ethical department, which is all here. This whole frontal lobe, prefrontal cortex is all about behavioral control. Well, you can see right here, error monitoring, guidance of attention and thought, inhibition of appropriate actions like calling someone a demonic possessed when they're just bothered by stupidity, and regulating emotion. And you can see, and you'll see in this video, that this lizard brain, truth be told, is pure lizard brain. And they all really are. These guys all live in a world of idiocracy. This is the first video I did because I was stunned that these fools, these are all like PhDs over here. And they can't figure out what the word Christ means. They're supposed to be ethical. They think the right Christian's ethical, and they're supposed to be scholars. But they're not. This is what we're looking at. We're not looking at normal brains with these people at all. Same thing for Bart Ehrman. It's mind-boggling. Absolutely friggin' mind-boggling. So the thing with this video with Truth Be Told is it was about the Christing stuff. So this is Bart Ehrman being shown by Danny Jones a bit from Phaedra, which was Euripides 430 BC. And this guy says he read Euripides before he came to Danny's podcast. So this is a situation. Danny Jones believes, because Danny Jones has an intact brain, Danny Jones believes that Bart Ehrman has an intact brain, but he doesn't, because he's a believer and a defender of the beliefs, and he lives in the world of Christian idiocracy. Now let me show you exactly what I mean by this. Well, you're insulting him. No, I'm not. This guy said he read Euripides before he went on to Danny Jones. And here's Danny Jones presenting this to him, these 5 words. So here's the translation above that I put in there. So you can go to, I got this from the Perseus Scaphy viewer, and I compared the Greek with what they had there for the translation. So this is the translation. So the story is that this woman, what's her name? I forget what her name is. Anyway, she wants to have sex with a young man. So she wants a love potion. That's what all this is. This is a love potion story. Now here's a translation. So Phaedra asks the nurse, this drug, is it an ointment or a potion? But that's not what Phaedra asked, because this word didn't exist until 1300 AD. So what she asked was, is this drug, is it a Christ or a potion, drinkable? Christ is a drug term. It was then and always was. And that is impossible for a idiocracy brain to understand. It's horrible. So that's this guy. This guy is doing his lizard brain nonsense about what a Christ is. And he actually says that Hillman is linguistically stupid. So Hillman's just sitting there reacting like, oh, God, turn it off. I can't take it. And it's hard. Listen, I cringe watching these blowhard PhDs embarrass the shit out of themselves without even knowing it. So that's what Hillman was doing. Oh, God, oh, please stop. Ah. But this lizard brain engages in magical ideation. Yes, here we go. And I'll show you how it works. So this lizard brain, truth be told, he just lied to 600,000 people about Hillman being demon-possessed. Isn't that amazing? He didn't bother to check it. He just listened to Wes Huff and just accused a dude of being fucking demon-possessed. So what should this guy do? This is what he should do. This lizard brain should do another video and apologize for being a liar. Here's what he should say. Aman, I am sorry for being a liar and a holy roller fraud that suffers from lizard brain-induced magical ideations. That's why I did this video, and I'm sorry. But will he do that? Of course not. Of course not. Lizard brains that are scapegoaters only know scapegoating. This is this guy's mind. Oh, man. He never expected this, did he? So let's see how this works. So here's the magical ideation moment, right? At 5:33, this lizard brain thinks that this lizard brain saying Jesus is causing him to have the demon, And again, all Hillman is doing is reacting to what a moron Wes Huff is. Now, here's the thing about this, too. This guy calls him demon-possessed. Demon-possessed. And this lizard brain thinks it's fine for him to call someone demon-possessed, but it's inappropriate for Hillman to properly call Wes Huff a moron, because Wes Huff is a moron, just like this guy. They're both morons. They're not morons. When they're not in their domain of false beliefs and their fake religion, they have normal brains. But the second they get into religion, they go full tropic thunder. These guys are living in the domain of full tropic thunder. It's unbelievable. All right, let's watch this. Here we go. So Hillman is dikaios. He's got an operational brain. He's ethical. And this is why it is impossible to actually debate a Christian, because lizard brains don't think. Thinking is up here in the prefrontal cortex. Down here, emotion, the so-called lizard brain. The prefrontal cortex is supposed to override the lizard brain. But when you engage in false beliefs and are a scapegoater, scapegoating requires you to turn off your frontal lobe. Fear that these guys have of their fake religion, of dying and being taken to hell, inhibits the frontal lobe broadly, but scapegoating specifically inhibits the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is quite amazing. So this is an amazing paper that illustrates the problem with inhibiting the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and the other parts of the prefrontal cortex. So this is a paper, you can see, it was published when? It was published 2020. Real scientists who actually have functional frontal lobes versus these guys who are believers. So this is what we're told. Suppressing the PFC allows people to experience certain religious events as supernatural in origin, which in turn increases reported magical ideation. Magical ideation. Oh my God. So dikaios Hillman has legitimate cringe reaction to the lies from an illiterate ignoramus. Now, if you go into Acts 4:13, when Peter is basically used, this is the amazing thing about Acts 4:13 Greek. You should go there and look. Just go Acts 4 interlinear or Acts 4 Greek. Click interlinear, go to 4:13, and you'll see that the author of Acts 14, who is the author and like the observer, observes the language of Peter, which is the language of these two guys. And then we are told about how the observing high priest experienced this language of John and Peter and John. And the reaction was the high priest recognized that they were egrammatoi kai idiotai. In other words, They knew 2,000 years ago that the beliefs that Wes Huff and this lizard brain on the left, truth be told, has were idiotic 2,000 years ago. And these guys 2,000 years later are still suffering from the same idiocracy that was described in Acts 4:13 2,000 years ago, allegedly. Isn't that incredible? Pure lizard brain. So Mr. Smarty Pants over here, who thinks he's got the truth in him, has no idea he's actually a lizard brain. And the reason why is because he spends his time with all these other lizard brains. And this comes along where a fact comes along. This brain can't handle facts that do not comport with their lizard brain. That's the issue for these guys. So what's this guy going to do? This guy, can you say, this guy just bared false witness, lied to 600,000 people about being demon possessed. And the only reason why is because this guy's lizard brain suffers from magical ideations. Will he repent like he's told to do in the Bible? And of course, he probably won't. But we'll see. We'll see if Mr. Lizard Brain, truth be told, has the stones to be a real man or not.